when I hear words like techedelic and psychedelic science, my ears perk up and I'm like, tell me more. So tell us more about exactly what Lucia number 3, the company you helped start, Lucid Holistics, what's it all about? What are we really doing with this technology that is this techedelic psychedelic science?
Wonderful. I love it. Beautiful. Let's start with what is Lucia number 3. Breaking down exactly what is a techedelic. So Lucia number 3, just to give you a visual to take you on this journey, you can imagine almost like the light that is swung over you when you go to the dentist, right? So from a hardware side, we're looking at a combination of LEDs and halogen bulb and nothing else coming out of the machine. So solid and flickering white light coming out of the machine itself. And what this is doing is it's gently entraining the brain using specific frequencies into a deeply meditative state. So essentially, as the user, what you're doing is your eyes are closed the entire time. And as your brain is receiving the solid and flickering white light through the optic nerve, but actually we have photoreceptor cells all over our body, and I personally use the light in a myriad of ways, not just the classic way, but speaking traditionally. Your eyes are closed, you're receiving the solid and flickering white light, again, gently entraining you to this meditative state. Where it starts to become a little trippy and psychedelic is where we introduce the second stimuli of music. And so in our experience, you add music, and as the two stimuli combine in the brain, it's inducing what's called synesthesia. So anyone who's experienced psychedelics is familiar with synesthesia. This is the blending of the senses, essentially. In our experience, naturally, it's sound. Seeing sound is the result. But this can, you can hear people speaking from a psychedelic experience, like, I could taste color. All of this is synesthesia. So what ends up resulting behind your closed eyelids is this beautiful, truly psychedelic experience of patterns and fractals. Interestingly enough, sacred geometry is what just inherently comes through us as the beautiful, brilliant human beings that we are. And I've actually, been able to work with holistic professionals that can really help me, and, color psychologists, all sorts of different people who can help dissect, for the individual, what really is being excavated and coming to the surface, so that we can really have a greater understanding of what your subconscious is really telling you. But so essentially, again, all that the user is doing is closing their eyes. So what I find just on the surface before diving into how this truly is a substance-free psychedelic, just speaking to the necessity of and the benefits of meditation, right? I mean, like, we've all heard, especially now in COVID, like, download your meditation app, all the benefits of mindfulness. It can help pretty much everything that ails you, depending on who you ask. And ultimately, to be honest, I have found it to be one of the most transformative things in my life, absolutely. But so many people, right, are like, I just can't meditate. I'm not a meditator. Or the stigma that's attached to it. Even as a self-proclaimed hippie, when I first was introduced to this technology, I didn't feel like I was enough of a hippie to really even like belong to this community, right? And so where I think that technology really has this advantage is that it can bridge this disconnect between, what is arguably the existing psychedelic culture, which is strongly connected in a lot of ways to the new age and kind of more hippie scene, if you will, and include everyone, right? Not only a wider spectrum of patients for psychedelic science as a substance-free alternative, which again, I'll get into, but there's been nothing more rewarding than watching somebody be able to let go and just actually find that meditative state effortlessly. Typically, if you have 40 years to dedicate to, learning Zen Buddhism and, becoming a monk and honing that practice, then you can absolutely, reach that place. And what we're providing isn't a shortcut, right? But it's a tool that allows you to access that state, yes, in seconds instead of 40 years. But the way that our brain works is once you have been exposed to an experience, that is your path to be able to re-access it, right? And so once we have broken through and we have our own subjective experience of a meditative state, it is infinitely easier for you to naturally bring yourself, with or without our technology, back to that place. So I think that just in itself, even just with one experience, can be so transformative for people.